I had my eyes on the 1978 compressor since it was announced. It came out not long ago, but it quickly made a lot of people interested in it. I finally got my unit. I did some real work with it in the past weeks, and in this video we're gonna take a look at the controls on the front panel. We will also run some files through it so you can hear it for yourself. Today we take the new Drawmer 1978 stereo tone shaping FET compressor for a long test drive. Let's get to it. Originally, I had planned to do only one video with the controls overview, the audio files, examples, and my review, but the video turned out to be way too long, so I decided to split the video in two parts. One, you will have just the overall view of the controls and the audio files examples, and in the other video you will have my 100% honest, no bullshit review of this unit. Like I said in the intro, I actually did some mixes with it before reviewing it, and I can tell you right away one of my last mixes, which you can find on our Facebook page and SoundCloud page, and it had this compressor on the drum bus and its big brother, the 1973 FET multiband compressor from Drawmer on the 2 bus, and that is also some serious piece of hardware, but we will talk about that in another video. It deserves it. Second reason because you shouldn't skip me blabbering is because we all know real men don't read manuals, and that's all good. But even if you think you can tell all there is to know about this compressor just by looking at the controls like I did, there are some cool hidden features and functions under the hood that you will not figure out just by looking at the unit. So first thing, if you haven't already listened to the last mix I've done with this compressor, link is in the description box below. We will also break down that mix in future videos. We will see some cool tricks. Alright, let's get to the 1978. You're going to be familiar with the first sets of control. Big knob is the threshold. Then we have the ratio that goes from 1 to 10, fully variable. You can really tweak it precisely. Then we have the attack that goes from 0.2 to 100 millisecond. And then we have the release that goes from 0.5 to 3.5 seconds. All these controls are fully variable, but recalls are pretty easy because of the yellow arrow on each knob. Then we have the character section. 4 buttons that expand the versatility of this unit. We have the PGM button. When engaged, this will introduce a second slower release time in proportion to the density of the program material. The function is to reduce excessive pumping under heavy compression. Really handy for 2 bus duties. Then we have the smooth button. This adds an extra circuit which slows down the initial release. Its use is to reduce distortion on low frequencies. Works very well. Then we have the release curve, logarithmic when disengaged, becomes linear when engaged. Then the channel link button, that does what you expect it to do. By partially summing the left and the right channel before the sidechain, it produces a wider stereo image. This might be not so pronounced, although still noticeable as other compressors with this function, but they designed this really well, as when I engage it, I don't feel the mid-channel going away or losing power and solidity. Then we have the saturation module. Level goes from 0 to 10, fully variable. It goes from gentle sweetening and gluing to special effect kind of distortion. It's completely independent from the compression side of the unit, so this thing can be used as a standalone saturator. And another cool thing is the VU meter backlight start to turn from yellow to red as the saturation increases. Not only a cool thing to look at, but also a pretty brilliant way to give you a visual reference on how much you're saturating. And then we get to probably the most important sets of control for this compressor, which are the tone shaping Sidechain EQ Controls. Now this is where the hidden feature is, something you don't know just by looking at the controls, and it's very cool. We have 2 frequencies ranges knob, the low frequency range and the high frequency range, so you can tailor what the compressor reacts to very precisely. The low frequency has 60, 125, 250 and 500 Hz in shelf mode, and then you have 2 options in bell mode, which are 200 and 400 Hz. The low frequency section has its own level, so you can decide how much you can take away from the detector by adjusting the level knob. And it's independent from the high frequency section, which also has its own level knob. Frequency selections for the high frequencies are 16K, 8K, 4K, and 2K in shelf mode, and 6K and 3K in bell mode. Great for de-essing and taming harshness on mixes and groups. And here's a trick. If you put both frequency bands in bell mode, you can actually make the compressor focusing only on the mids and not looking at the top, at the bottom at all. I think it's the only wideband compressor that can do that. And now the hidden feature in the Sidechain EQ. Usually internal sidechain EQ only affects the detector of the compressor, not the output signal. But on this one, the shaping controls add a small amount of EQ to the signal, to the output signal. This varies in conjunction with the low frequency and high frequency level knob. As the levels are set higher, the EQ applied to the output signal also rises. But it does it with a very broad curve and very little gain. When the level knobs in the sidechain section are set to 10, the max EQ applied to the output signal will be 3 dB. So let's say you put them at 5, you will only have 1.5 dB of EQ applied. This function allows you not only to compensate for the gain reduction with a makeup gain, but you can also compensate for the tone changes that compression can cause. It's very gentle, but so very effective and useful. Last set of controls is the output section. We have a bypass button and a mix control, from fully wet to fully dry for parallel compression. Inside the box, fully variable, and the output control, which, like I said earlier, it has a sound. The FET circuit, when pushed, sound very rich, without dirtying up the signal nor lose clarity. I find it like a very gentle enhancer, especially when I pushed the output into the red. So these were the controls of the Drawmer 1978. Let's finally listen to the audio examples. And here's the Drawmer 1978 on real acoustic drums. And here's the Drawmer 1978 compressor on some loop straight from the boom instrument that comes with Pro Tools. And here's the Drawmer 1978 on some drum kit straight from Superior Drummer. And now a couple of examples of the Drawmer 1978 used as a mix bus compressor. Now for this example, I just put the compressor on top of the mix, which is something I wouldn't do. I would mix into it, but they are just gonna be an example for the sake of the video. And here's the Drawmer 1978 compressor on bass. And here's the Drawmer 1978 on vocals.
Ascolta, è un canto leggero che ti uccide nel sonno. Le ombre dei tuoi passi si dissociano lontano. Non te ne accorgi, sono nella tua mano. A poco il mattino interrompe incubi finiti nel caffè, fuori piove un sangue amaro. Ascolta, è un canto leggero che ti uccide nel sonno. Le ombre dei tuoi passi si dissociano lontano. Non te ne accorgi, sono nella tua mano. A poco il mattino interrompe incubi finiti nel caffè, fuori piove un sangue amaro. E scivola piano. Tu sfuggi da te o da me. E scivola piano. Tu sfuggi da te o da me. E scivola piano. E scivola piano. Tu sfuggi da te o da me. E scivola piano. Tu sfuggi da te o da me. E scivola piano. Tu sfuggi da te o da me.
Alright, so these were enough audio examples to give you more than a clear idea of what this compressor can do. I don't know what you think, but I'm loving it. Check out the other video with my full review of the unit, what I think about it, what I think it's good for, and this is it for this video. Thank you for watching if you made it this far. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Join MixBuzz TV on Facebook and Twitter. You will find some exclusive material on those pages, and it's the best way to keep in touch with us, ask questions, and so on. Don't forget to click the like button if you like the video. Support MixBuzz TV by sharing the videos on social media and forums, and see you next time.